Hi dear students, welcome to Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Nasik. So student, in our previous lecture, we have started our discussion about the water pollution. We studied that the water bodies are contaminated by number of different types of pollutants. The pollutants were classified into the different classes. Our first class of water pollutant was the organic pollutant. The organic pollutants is the major pollutant present in various water bodies. Now today we are going to talk about the second class of water pollutant, that is the inorganic pollutant. Now we will talk about inorganic pollutants. So student, the inorganic pollutants are also further classified into the four broad classes. The first is acid, second is alkalis, third one is cations, and fourth one is anions. We will discuss over here about the sources and examples of certain acids, alkalis, anions and cations. We will make a very short table for that. In the first column we will write the pollutant, suppose. In second column we will write the examples, and in third column we will discuss about the sources. Our first class of inorganic pollutant is acids. So the acid inorganic pollutant present in the water bodies are the sulfuric acid and phosphoric acid. Sulfuric acid and phosphoric acids. So what are the sources of sulfuric acid and phosphoric acid? The first one is a mine runoff. Sources are the mine runoff. Second is wool scoring process or waste. Wool scoring waste. Second class of inorganic pollutant is alkalis. Example are the caustic soda and lime. Caustic soda, lime, etc. It comes from the tannery waste. And second is cotton processing waste. Cotton processing waste. Our third class of inorganic pollutant is cations. Ionic pollutant we called it, cations. For example, Hg second, lead second, in this way. Examples will be the metallurgical operations, metallurgical operations. We know that metallurgy is nothing but the process of extraction of a metal from their ore. So the number of steps are there during the extraction. The entire process is known as a metallurgy, and again a number of different types of metallurgies are also there. Our fourth class of inorganic pollutant is anions. For example, sulfides, cyanides, etc. It also comes from the mine runoff. Means the wastage during the mining process. Effluent during the mining process, we call it as a mine runoff. And second is the plating process. just like a coating of one metal on the surface of another metal. We call it as a plating. Various methods of platings are also there. Probably the plating process releases the anions into the water bodies. So it was an account about the classification of inorganic pollutants. Now we will talk about the acid mine drainage. Acid mine drainage. Acid mine drainage is similar to the acid rain. This phenomenon is acid rain. We studied about the acid rain due to the air pollution. The nitrogen containing and sulfur containing gases undergoes a chemical reaction in the atmosphere, and it results in the formation of the nitric acid and sulfuric acid. This nitric acid and sulfuric acid along with the rainwater comes on the earth's surface, and obviously this rainwater becomes acidic. We call it as acid rain. This acidic water has an very dangerous effect over the living organisms. Most of the organisms and most of the plants are affected too much due to this acid rain. The acid mine is similar to the acid rain. In fact, the acid mine results due to the presence of the sulfuric acid during the oxidation of iron pyrite. It results due to the presence of sulfuric acid during the oxidation of pyrite, FeS2. In our common drain or stream of drains, the sulfuric acid is present, iron pyrite is also present. The bacterial action causes the oxidation of iron pyrite, and if the sulfuric acid is present there, it will causes the formation of one important component which will make a deposit at the bottom of the streams, and this phenomenon is known as acid mine drainage. So the acid mine drainage results due to the presence of sulfuric acid during the oxidation of pyrite. In fact, the microorganism plays an important role during this process. It involves 2 to 3 important steps. In the first step, oxidation of iron pyrite into the Fe2 plus takes place. In the second step, Fe2 plus is oxidized to corresponding Fe3 plus, and in the third step, Fe3 plus reacts with water to form a yellow colored precipitate, means yellow deposit of ferric hydroxide, and this yellow deposit of ferric hydroxide form a bed at the bottom of a stream of water or drainage water, and therefore it becomes a yellow deposits, and this phenomenon we call it as acid mine drainage. We will talk about all these 3 steps. So the step first is the oxidation of iron pyrite. So the 2 moles of FeS2 reacts with H2O in presence of oxygen. Oxygen acts as an oxidizing agent. It gives twice of Fe2 plus, means iron is oxidized to corresponding Fe2 plus plus H plus ions, and sulfate ions releases. So it was your first step. Our second step is the oxidation of Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. Oxidation of Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. This oxidation takes place slowly. This oxidation takes place slowly at about 3.5 pH. The corresponding reaction is in this way. (4H plus) means due to the acid, it gives Fe3 plus H2O. It was your second step. Now this Fe3 plus ferric ion formed at acidic pH reacts with water to give a ferric hydroxide. So the step third is the formation of ferric hydroxide precipitate. Fe3 plus reacts with thrice H2O. It gives yellow precipitate of Fe3 plus, FeOS thrice, and it forms a bed at the bottom of a stream of mine water. When this deposit takes place in the mine drainage, it will causes the contamination, and therefore the responsible component H2SO4 is a dangerous one. It is an most toxic, and it also destroy the life cycle of many aquatic organisms, and therefore the prevention and cure of acid mine water is an important challenge of a chemist, more particularly environmental chemist. One of the approach to neutralize the sulfuric acid is the use of a limestone, that is the calcium carbonate. One of the approach to neutralize H2SO4 is the use of calcium carbonate. The calcium carbonate reacts with sulfuric acid. It gives a corresponding Ca2 plus ion plus sulfate ion plus CO2 plus H2O. However, unfortunately, the yellow precipitate of a ferric hydroxide form a protective layer over the calcium carbonate. Unfortunately, ferric hydroxide form protective layer on the molecule of calcium carbonate. Suppose this is your calcium carbonate molecule, and this is the protective coating of ferric hydroxide. Obviously, due to this protective coating, the calcium carbonate cannot become in contact with S2SO4. It forms a protective coating, and therefore the further neutralization is prevented. Hence, further neutralization is prevented. So student, it was an account about the acid mine drainage. You just note all this data by screenshot. Now we will talk about the sediments. So student, sediment is nothing but the deposit of a finely divided particle at the bottom of a water body. These are the deposits of finely divided particles at the bottom of water bodies such as rivers, streams, ponds, oceans, etc. In fact, the sediment is nothing but the fine, medium or coarse mineral component. These are the fine, medium or coarse granules of mineral compounds. Their composition is varies place to place, water body to water body, and even season to season their composition varies. Their composition is not as fixed. The matter of interest is that the chemical species from the sediment transfer to the organisms, means higher organism, through the aquatic organism. The matter of interest is that the chemical species transfer from sediments to higher organism through aquatic organisms. In fact, the sediment results by the physical, chemical and biological process. It results due to physical, chemical and biological processes. For example, suppose Ca2 plus ion reacts with water in presence of phosphate ion. It results in the formation of calcium hydrophosphite. Similarly, it can be reacts with the bicarbonate ion. It gives a calcium carbonate plus CO2 plus H2O. This is the deposit. This is also a deposit. This is the sediment. This is also sediment. Biological activity is also responsible for the formation of a sediment. Biological activity. Suppose if we took an example of the sulfate ion, upon reduction, it gives a H2S. If we have suppose a ferric hydroxide, upon a reduction, it gives a Fe3 plus. The net result is that these H2S and Fe3 plus combine together and it gives the corresponding FeS plus twice of H plus. Formation of iron sulfide. This is an black colored layer. So the net result is the formation of a black layer of iron sulfide. So student, it was an account about the sediments. In this lecture we studied the inorganic pollutant as well as the sediments. In this lecture we will stop here. In our next lecture we will talk about the pesticides. So thank you very much.